Hello gorgeous Aries, I do hope that you are well. Welcome to my channel, and this is your love horoscope for July 2018. My name is Bella and most people know me as Bella the Secret Psychic, and this is your, well actually if you just look down below you'll learn more about me and my services. Sorry about that, I have to say the same thing every time I start a video. And I get tongue-tied because it feels a little bit unnatural for me to just kind of reel off the same stuff, if you understand what I mean. Anyway, for those of you watching me for the first time, I do my readings with the help of my spirit guides. I read energies, I interpret information and give you a general overview. Now, interestingly, considering most people had really love energy going last month, this month, I'm not going to lie Aries, feels a little bit like your patience going to be tested a lot. So if you're not ready for this video, pause it, come back to it another time until you're ready to hear what I have to say. Right? Feels to me, if you're single, you're having to have patience with people that you are dating, or perpetrating, let's say, behaviours that are just not okay or appropriate, or that you are waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to pull their finger out just wants you for a date. That's the mildest. If you're in a connection, it doesn't matter what type of connection, whether you're in a three-way situation, or whether you're in an established relationship, or whether you are, early days with somebody. It does feel to me that as you start the month, there is a bit of disagreement. Now, one of the factors seems to be disagreement around things to do with movement. So this is about you either disagreeing with the other person about their plans on maybe moving jobs, or your plans and ideas about moving house, or your plans and ideas about what the future holds, or their specific plans because they're deciding to go overseas and you're not. Whatever the movement is that you get disappointed with them in, it could also be their lack of movement. So again, this is maybe exes, things that they've promised. Again, if you're in this triangle situation, then actually you might be very frustrated that they haven't actually made movements towards it not being in a triangle situation, that you're becoming quite disillusioned basically with them and their energy, and the fact that you feel like you're just waiting for this movement to go your way basically. I get delayed communications, some of it purposely from your end, some of it from their end. I'm getting here some of you toying with the idea of wanting to completely remove yourself from the connection that you're in. You're toying with the idea. Some of you, that might be a reality, that you feel like, I don't know if I can move in the same direction that they are moving, so I'm seriously considering, or I will move on in another direction. Particularly those Aries that had that experience that was about a year ago now, where you really got burnt and you promised yourself you were not going to let the patterns or somebody repeat you again. I have to say, this is not the same situation at all, but it could be triggering a memory of that, where you're just like, I'm just not going to mess around with my time when it comes to relationships. It feels like a really deep reading, guys. I'm so sorry, but I'd never know what's going to come out until I start doing these, and I only ever do them in one take. It feels to me like, oh, this is like, I feel so frustrated. I hate giving negative reads, I really do. But it feels to me that, like, it doesn't seem to get any better as the month goes on, basically. So you will be pushed into a corner, my dear Aries, about making a decision when it comes to the relationship that's around you, because I get here that some of them, in order to either try and keep you or to keep things hidden from you, that they will lie and deceive you. Also coming up, I get in the third week you're feeling quite emotional, because I think you will be feeling very, very strongly that you're being pushed into a decision, to make a decision about that relationship that feels like it was forced upon you, and you would be right. So none of this, so if you're getting messages that someone's saying you, well, this is your fault, or because you didn't do this and this, my guides are saying here that would be misdirection from that person, it would be unfair, and actually you are in the right. They are saying that you are in the right, so just so you know that. Others that are cross-watching may not agree, but this is how it's coming across. In the third week, I'm not going to lie, you need to trust your emotions. You know, if your emotions are screaming that you need to be walking in another direction, or at the very least having a break away from that person so that you can gather your emotions and gather your thoughts, then you 100% need to do that. Your own higher self will be screaming the answers even if you don't like it, and my guides are saying here you must follow it, because albeit I read for this month, when I do Augustus, and I'll do them when I can, when I get to the Augustus one, the story could be very, very different from what it is now based on how you react this month. Because the same if you don't, there's continual sort of basically a battle between you and this other person, and again it's very specifically focused on this move or movement that this person is or isn't making, that is in a disagreement and not alignment to the direction that you thought the relationship was going, or do you see what I mean? So if somebody sprang a surprise on you and said, oh, we've been together a year now, we've been going very well, and then suddenly they tell you they're moving to London, you know, and you live in Australia, that's going to have a massive impact on your relationship. Or perhaps this person's been promising you forever that they're going to give you the keys and you can move in, and they even said, oh, it's going to be July, and it gets to July and they haven't done it, and you're getting the impression that they're putting you off. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to start to be disillusioned by the direction of the relationship. So there's something about some kind of move or movement or that they are doing or not doing that is a real problem. And some of you may still not make the decision in this month, but if you don't, you need to be aware there are more conflict and arguments to follow because of it. But also that my guides are saying here, the conflict and the arguments don't actually help it. All they help is to raise your blood pressure, basically. And in a way, making a decision and not waiting for the other person to make the decision. You know, don't try to convince them, because one would argue you shouldn't have to convince somebody unless what you're answering is, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Unreasonable. Then in loving partnerships, we do meet each other halfway, or consider the impact at least. Do you see what I mean? It's a difficult one, because if somebody is making a movement because the opportunity for them is so huge, then do you see how complicated it could get? What my guides are saying here, you're looking for them to demonstrate that they love you. And I think that you would wear the news of this lack of thing you're not getting better if they demonstrated it. It feels to me because they are digging their heels in and showing perhaps a lack of emotion. It is that is bothering you, and not necessarily 100% the movement factor. Does that make sense? I'm so sorry to give negative news, but this is why I do readings. It's to try to look at the solutions, or try to prepare you basically for you to respond or navigate it through it much more successfully. And the overall message that my guides are giving you guys this month is, firstly, it's not the same as that horrid relationship that always triggers in you. But secondly, stepping aside, or even completely walking away, but stepping aside at the very least, allowing the energy of this month, which is highly different for you guys than it was last month, let it subside, because it could be different next month. Do you get me? So, and you'll just avoid, you know, like when we start arguing, it can make things worse, because then we compound things and people say things more than they would have said, which then just sticks, like this is saying no. And as an Aries, you're, you know, nobody wants to have an Aries bite their head off, and you know, do you see what I mean? So navigate through this month the best way that you can. Don't hate me because I gave you a negative read. I'd rather tell you the truth than you go through the month feeling like I've blown wind up your skirt about something that was never going to happen. This month does feel like your patience will be tested, your emotions will be challenged when it comes to the connection that you have with another person, and the best resolution, my guides are saying to this, even though it still won't feel pleasant, is to disengage and not to engage in the aggressive. It's not worth it, basically. I hope that's been helpful for you this month so that you can navigate it a little bit more successfully. Do let me know how you overcome it, how you read through it, and perhaps give other people some advice as well, because sometimes, you know, when all you Aries are going through this together, sometimes, you know, it's good to have company that understand and can be supportive of you. So anyway, lovely Aries, I will see you again next month, hopefully with better news. And I will see you then. Take care. Bye bye.